Welcome back to the Teams Insider podcast. It is a pleasure this week to have Adam Jacobs on the podcast. It's amazing I haven't had him on yet. He's a good friend. Him and I established the Microsoft UC User Group London back when he lived in the UK, which has been going for almost 14 years now. I think I said 10 on the pod, but amazing amount of time. Adam now works in the IC3 team at Microsoft, which is the back-end infrastructure behind services like Teams. We talk about his role, some of the features he's been working on, AI's impact and AI cogs and all the exciting features that AI enables in comms and communication, and also a little bit about his history previously working in financial services and then working for Poly as a devices OEM. Many thanks to Adam for jumping on the podcast, really interesting conversation. And also many thanks to Pure IP, who are the sponsor of this podcast. Really appreciate all their support of everything we do. On with the show. Hi everybody, welcome back to the podcast. First time we've had Adam on the show, which is ridiculous because we go back literally the longest as we'll talk about. Adam and I co-established one of the user groups in London that's still going strong well over a decade later. In fact, it's quite a lot over a decade now. But Adam, let's start off with a bit of an intro, who you are, and then we'll go back through the history.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been at Microsoft now, coming up on, well, be 4 years in April. I work in a part of the org which is not often known about, because you usually you're sort of interview and hear from people that work directly on Teams. So people like Ilya and whatnot, and they're sort of focused on devices and client side experiences. I work in a group called IC3, and I can't remember what the acronym stands for right now, but basically we're responsible for the platform behind Teams and other communications components within Microsoft. So I'm specifically in the real-time communications part of IC3, it's interesting. We work very closely with the people on the client side because obviously, when they want something from a client perspective to deliver an experience, more often than not, they need back end and platform changes to sort of light up the end-to-end experience. So we work closely, quite hand in hand, and but yeah, that's kind of my area of expertise.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting area we're in. Obviously, on the podcast, we often have people on the front end. We've had Hindra on the podcast a few times talking about kind of the wider platform and the scale. But it is an incredible scale that obviously your team are supporting in terms of concurrency of minutes and sessions and video and everything else.
It is. And it's amazing. I have to think about things that possibly aren't always thought through by other product managers, just to that end. So for example, when we release something new, and it might just be adding a new internal partner to an existing feature, we have to look at, well, what's the cost impact going to be? And sometimes it can be quite, quite extreme. So I have to make sure that those things add up. And I'm a regular on our. We have this. We have a COGS council internally where our CVP reviews where we're at with various things, and AI features are very much so, on the upper end of costs, and I work on a number of AI features, and as a consequence, I've become quite the regular at our COGS council.
Yeah, it's interesting when you multiply any feature by 320 million monthly active users, then it adds up.
It does. Yeah. And actually, I'm part of Mahendra's group. So yeah, if you've interviewed Mahendra, I'm sure he's already given you a good grounding in my area and what we do. So yeah, it's very interesting.
So I want to get into some of the AI stuff. I know you can't talk about all of that right now, but you were also responsible, I think, are still responsible for Cloud Video Interop. It'd be great to talk about that and what that does, because that's partner integration as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I am still the PM for Cloud Video Interop, and it is it's an area that I think we didn't think would exist at this point in time a long time ago. We always kind of thought about Cloud Video Interop as, well, it's a band-aid. It'll be around for 2, maybe 3 years. But yeah, we still have a number of customers that rely heavily on it. And believe it or not, we're still even building features. I mean, they're not groundbreaking features. For example, we literally just rolled out support for being able to see PowerPoint Live content. And there's other features we're looking at because we do have some very large, financial services customers that still rely heavily on Cloud Video Interop. And we actually haven't seen much of a decline in that area from a traffic standpoint. So yeah, it keeps me busy when I'm not working on AI stuff. But it's not the sort of sexy, shiny new things that we're trying to get out to customers right now.
So I'm really interested from your perspective. Obviously, you've seen over the 4 years the kind of focus on AI, and Microsoft were doing stuff before then, but it's really come into focus in the last 4 years. What's been your perspective on that in kind of IC3 and your role?
So for me, in my role, it's really been about basically meeting the scale and the needs of our customers now that AI really has become a big deal and a prime time feature for us. We've had to basically go back, look at our platform. And there has been, and I think the same could be said for any technology company. When AI became a thing, a lot of people went fast and quick. And sometimes when that happens, you don't always build things for efficiency. And when I say efficiency, I mean things like, um, efficiency around costs and compute and whatnot. And I think now that we're at a point where this has become, a really serious offering and something that we're investing in extremely heavily, as I'm sure you're aware, we've had to go back and really take our platforms to the next level and try and look at, well, where are we duplicating things? Where have we got multiple teams doing the same thing? When in actual fact, we should be doing it once and doing it in the right way at scale. So, one example for you is I've been working quite heavily on moving transcripts to a new platform, which can scale more significantly and also offer more insights beyond just transcripts. And as you know, in meetings, transcripts are one of the biggest pieces of grounding data. So that's been a big thing for me. I'm wrapping up a project associated with that, and we've also, as a part of that project, we're bringing transcripts to other clouds where they weren't previously available. So it's one of those things where it's like a big sort of housekeeping exercise, and it doesn't sound really exciting, but it plays a big part into AI and our M365 Copilot strategy.
No, it's huge. We had Rakipta Gupta on the pod, who I think is the PM on the team side for some of the recording and transcription, and obviously it's hugely become important with AI, and suddenly everybody really cares about transcriptions and transcription quality. And I presume suddenly usage has gone through the roof because I'm now transcribing everything I can all the time because I want to go back with Copilot later and just possibly use it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. It'll come as no surprise that I think it's become, or it's up there as, one of our big IC3 costs, because now everyone's using it. And if it's not just transcript we're talking about. There's technologies like we have facial recognition and voice recognition, which we have, which is all, it's all layered on top of our transcription services. And those things have also seen much more adoption, especially now that we have things like Cloud IntelliFrame that will not only do what it did in the past, which was framing people when they're in Teams rooms when they don't have intelligent cameras, but now it will also recognize who's in the room and update the roster with and all those things are kind of linked around our transcription story, and it just means we're sending additional metadata, but and we're trying to also roll that out at a larger scale as well. But again, there are some other efficiencies that we're looking at so that we can roll this out more broadly to more and more customers.
Is it the right thing to think about it in kind of two camps, as in there's post-call processing, and that's one set of cost, and then there's real-time things like facilitator and face recognition? Because when I talk to the contact centers, they talk about it as being very different, trying to be real-time versus post-session.
Yeah, this is an interesting area. We largely speaking, we treat everything the same right now. And what I mean by that is that we try and do things as real time as possible. So, for example, if you're transcribing or recording a meeting, at the end of the meeting or shortly thereafter, you'll get the recording presented, the recaps, the transcription, and customers don't always need things straight away. But we currently focus on doing things, as and when and in real time. That might change, as we try and look at, various efficiencies. But clearly, when it comes to things like AI skills, we need to be as quick as possible and do things, In fact, we even need to do things quicker than we do them today. So, for example, in the case of a transcript, quite often a transcript will capture an utterance, and then it will, write that utterance over in one piece, so you have a complete sentence of what someone said, and that's that's contextual and that's important. But for things like other intelligent bots, where you want to speak in real time, you need to be even faster. So there are other transcription technologies that we're looking at to see whether we can do things quicker than we're doing things now. But that's again, that falls into this.
The real-time voice models are super interesting to me. So some of the stuff I've been playing with, things like the idea of a virtual receptionist, virtual attendant type stuff, and there's various platforms that have different voice models today. But again, that is real time, because now you're interacting with people, so you've got to take the voice, process it, and respond in a human-like pace for it to be the best experience.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that comes with trade-offs in so far as accuracy is concerned, because the quicker you process stuff, the less context you get, and therefore, you can make mistakes. So sometimes you have to do a bit of both, and try and do things in one pass, and then when you can, go back and correct things. And you'll often see that when you do captions in meetings, you'll see things get corrected in real time as and when the context comes in.
Yeah, it's interesting how constrained or not constrained the use case is as well. So I guess like a virtual receptionist, there's a finite amount of variables there realistically, but a Teams meeting could literally be about anything and everything in multiple languages all over the world.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
And like, can you just give us a little bit just to kind of wrap the conversation up? I want to talk back to the olden days. So you were customer side, and then you were OEM partner side before you came to Microsoft. So take us a little bit through
Yeah.
that journey.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of my grounding came through the fact that I was originally in the IT industry. And I worked mainly in financial services. And I was eventually I became a IT director at a large financial services organization in the UK. Um, and just got more and more interested in, at the time, unified communications. And we were one of the first sites to integrate Office Communications Server with a Nortel PBX, using things like, at the time, remote call control, and things that don't, they don't exist anymore. But they at the time, this was like, really sort of cutting edge or maybe bleeding edge stuff. And I started talking more about it. I was blogging and speaking at a few, actually, I think at the time, Microsoft events. And then I landed at Polycom, and I started working on the devices directly, which I was previously, purchasing and deploying. I was at Polycom for the best part of 10 years, and that's when I moved over to the US. And yeah, I worked on a number of different devices at Polycom, which I'm sure you'll remember well. We had the link room system, and there's a number of phones. I did a lot of work on VVX phones and
Yeah.
HDXs at the time, which had that sort of semi-native integration with Link. And yeah, it gave me a good understanding about video and real-time communications, which is ultimately why I've landed at Microsoft.
It's really interesting that you've gone from the customer buyer to the producer of the solutions, working with Microsoft as a partner, to being on the inside of the Microsoft journey. I feel like you've seen all stages of the kind of the service, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting. I've been on the other side when I was a partner working on building devices, as I mentioned, and now, with the Cloud Video Interop program, I was at one of the partners, and actually Polycom was, one of the first partners to start with Cloud Video Interop. Certainly when it came to Skype for Business online. And now I get to work with the partners directly. And as strange as that was, it's kind of worked out well, because I understand what they're building. I understand their challenges, and we have a great rapport. I work very closely with the folks at Pexip and Cisco, and yeah, it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you've got an understanding of what they're dealing with as well as what you're dealing with internally, which is always nice. Microsoft's such a big org. I feel like people can kind of get wrapped up in the inside of it, so it's nice to have someone who feels the pressures of being in the ecosystem or in the end customer, for that matter.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I've always been quite customer focused, but I still, sometimes I probably focus a little too much on the customer. But I know what it's like to be the customer. I know what a customer expects, and I know how hard it is, for, large tech companies to meet customers' expectations, but we should always try. And, I do.
Awesome. Adam, thanks so much for giving us a bit of a behind the scenes look at what's going on. Really interesting perspective on the AI stuff too. I will see you virtually at the next user group and hopefully in person soon. And I'm sure we'll have you back on the pod again when you can talk more about the stuff that you can't quite talk about yet.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.